Yo, yo, yo. It's good, everybody. It's Bob. Today I'll be going over the tournament that's currently undergoing in Leicester right now. This is the Blitz League, and we're going to see some pretty good gameplay. This is not the same game as World of Tanks Blitz. It's the CIS version, which is Tank Splits. But a lot of the maps and a lot of the tanks are the same tanks that you see in Blitz, and I kind of just want to cover it because I think it'd be pretty cool to cover these kind of games. Plus, you get to see very similar high level gameplay that we typically see on World of Tanks Blitz competitive. So I just kind of wanted to just watch these games and kind of break down my thoughts on how each team plays, and maybe some of y'all will learn like a thing or two, which is what I wanted stream these games for. So we're gonna begin with Zombie versus New Era. I'm not really familiar with a lot of these like Russian players or these CIS players to be more precise. But let's go watch. And I'll probably just turn off the audio just because I don't really understand Russian. So first game, we're gonna be on Mayan, and we're seeing very quickly, very interesting, like 4-1 split. I'm guessing from the side of Zombie, and then on the blue team, we're seeing what I believe is two mediums going towards the seaside, with four tanks going to the middle, and then the CS-63 is going to the town. So I'd say in terms of just tank distributions, the blue team are very much strong arming the middle, while Zombie have a much stronger medium presence on the med side. So in theory, they should be able to just win the med side of C. So the blue team, I think, just off of what they see right now, where it's only just a Wheezy, who is actually taking a very interesting position on Mayan. So if I just quickly change the map to Mayan, we do see the WZ on the side of Zombie go to this far corner, which is going to basically strong arm and anchor the position. It's going to be a very close position, going to be very hard to kind of push into. So let's see what the blue team can do here in this case. I'll just let these games play. So kind of what I was anticipating, just like strong arming the center a bit, and I'm just going to put down all the tanks just for the sake of this discussion. You're gonna have some mediums here, and then you're gonna have, I think these are heavy tanks, these Object 780s. Are they heavy tanks? I'm just gonna assume so. So we have like four heavy tanks. Oh, wrong color. So we got four heavy tanks, and then we have a med kind of just going in town, trying to open up an off angle, and then we see very strong medium lineup from Zombie, where they have guys like this, and then I think it's like heavy here, and then a guy in town probably here. So actually, let me readjust the positions a little bit. So they have something like this, and just off rip in this kind of position, I don't think C is winnable at all um for what is this team's name? I don't know. I'll just call them blue team in this case. So blue team, maybe I should swap the colors, but I don't think uh the south side team. I'll just call it south spawn team. South spawn team, red, pushing into C is really not a possible option. The only counterplay I'd guess in this kind of position is probably just send these heavies and try to kill the guys in the middle. But there is potentially a play that you can make where you could maybe have one guy try to distract. So you could maybe send one heavy tank here and then send your rest of the tanks here in order to create an imbalance. You're going to have a numerical advantage on this side and just bowl those through because you have heavies and meds versus just meds. So as long as your heavies are brave enough to lead the push, take the initiative, you should be able to win the med side brawl. And then this guy, all he has to do is just tie up these two tanks time, buy enough time in order for the rest of the team to win the bigger brawl. And then this guy can just farm this dude as he tries to drive in to support the two guys in mid. So let's see what the blue team do. And it does seem like they are doing something similar. So they do send two guys, but it seems just the KPZ as I think probably insane DPM. A lot of the tanks in Tanks Blitz are a bit statistically different than the ones in World of Tanks Blitz, and I think the KPZ has like insane DPM. So I guess these tanks over here on this on the red side are just getting bled out like crazy, which kind of makes sense, but I didn't expect it to be this much. So probably Skilloid probably bled a couple shots from potentially these heavies just sitting in the middle. And yeah, kind of looks like in town it's like kind of like a mirror matchup where it's just one med, one heavy, kind of just like in the balcony of town. They're not really contributing to anything. Maybe this guy has shots on this guy if he peeks far enough, but let's see. Let's just play out the game. I think I'm just spending way too much time on these minor fucking details. Okay, so it seems like the blue team is trying to take the initiative on the med side of but it doesn't seem like they really know a good idea on how to really push this hole. This is a very difficult hole to kind of push into. So let me readjust the position so that they're more accurate. So we have something that looks like this, I believe. Yeah, something like this. Yeah. So this is just, I'd say, pretty bad because if you try to push the lone med on the bridge, you're going to get crossfired from one, two, three guys. If you try to make a push down low with like the meds, try to go for the guy in this corner here, it's possible. And I do think probably that's actually the best play. Now the only issue is how many shots are you going to take as you try to go for that kill, because like, this guy's gonna have shots, this guy's gonna have shots, right? And then this guy will have 1 shot, as well as, of course, the guy that you're trying to kill. Like, this is a pushing like this and getting to cover behind this rock here is probably their best bet if they are trying to kill this guy, but there's just so much crossfire. And then the same thing applies to the guy on the bridge, so if, say, just going back to this position here, if you're going to try to push the lone med on the bridge, you are going to get shot up like crazy. You're going to get shot here, here, and here, which I believe is what's exactly what's going on. Like they are just getting bled out like crazy. And another interesting angle that could happen is say these heavies here in the middle, if they are playing, with balls and they see an opportunity to one bait this guy's shots, make him back up a little bit. What they could do is they could just peek up over this hill and then put side shots into the guy peeking on the C cap like this. Just another potential angle, potential form of play that could happen if the middle brawl is not um uh if the guys in the middle are not trying to keep down these heavies over here. And it seems like, the blue team is trying to reinforce a bit more, but it's just too little too late, really. I feel like if they were going to make a move on the seaside, they need to, 1, make it much faster, and 2, just immediately take the numerical advantage and just send it over, because they did initially send 2 tanks just over the bridge like this, and then one of them kinda stayed back because he got bled a bit, and then the other one just went forwards, but I feel like you just have to accept that you're just gonna bleed and just, like, try to send it before these meds can really get any value, if anything, because the longer you sit and wait, the more that they're just gonna eventually whittle down your HP and make that differential a bit more, and then eventually you just clean up. So, I think just off of what I see here, I think Zombie just wins this off of just the setup they have and the bit of hesitation, say, from the blue team. So I'm fucking blind. The team names are up here, Zombie versus New Era. So, we do see 1 heavy from Zombie going to reinforce the heavies, or not the heavies, the meds. So, we're gonna see something like this. Is this guy what is this guy doing in town? Guy in town actually rotated over to mid, which is actually the correct play, I agree, because this lonesome med over here is trying to look for an off angle. He's probably somewhere here, but it's just a bit too little too late, and by the time that these heavies over here are trying to group up and try to, do a bit of counterplay, Zombie has already kind of equalized, or not even equalized, they have actually taken a numerical advantage on the med side, despite already, having won the med side in terms of position and also HP and bleeding. So, yeah, this is pretty chopped if you are New Era. Incredibly chopped. Then Zombie, they make a push down low, they're taking good angle here, and they're just getting fucked. And really good shootout on the WZ, but the WZ is making a really good play where he's just opening up another angle of crossfire because he could, in theory, just peek from the left side of this rock, or he could just stay a bit hidden, wait for these 780s to shoot the KPZs down here, and then peek the right side of the rock and then put in more shots. And not Virginia, he's making, I'd say, the right play. He's trying to push for the kill on the WZ, but it's not gonna be enough. Unique is just gonna go help, the WZ, and this, 780, he may be able to get the kill on the WZ, but he's just gonna eventually die to, Unique here in the 780. So fast pickup from Zombie First Blood. Virginia does eventually kill the WZ, so as I expected. But here, Unique, he can easily clean up Virginia, or it seems like he's looking for shots on this guy here, which is good focus fire discipline. Something that a lot of up and coming comp players kind of struggle with is focus fire discipline, especially in like these brawls where like, oh, I'm up HP against the guy that I could be 1v1ing. Let me go help my teammate here against, I think this is, yeah, Lost in Motion, who is a one shot. So instead of going for, wasting my shot into a tank that I know I could probably kill in a 1v1, let me go help my teammate, help my DPM, and then just clean up the brawl a little bit more. So good focus for a discipline from this guy. Oh, he does actually. Okay, never mind. I'm trolling. I guess he didn't have a shot. So he was searching for the shot, though, to be fair, but I guess he decided that shooting Virginia is a better use of time than searching for the shot. So this is just brawl cleanup from the side of Zombie. Okay, so I'm just gonna try to skip forward to next game. Okay, perfect. So Dynasty, we have New Era on South Spawn, and they seem to be going mostly to Seaside, while Zombie, they're doing a bit more, I'd say, map control. So Actually, no, both teams are doing a kind of a bit of map control with New Era doing a bit of a spawn bait. So the VK72, let me switch the map to Dynasty real quick. So where's Dynasty's Pearl? Then let me make Ranger a moderator real quick. There you go, Ranger buddy. You are now a mod. Thank you for showing up, and also thank you, Work, for showing up. I can't. I just pulled up the stream on my phone because I don't really want to pull it up here since I'm streaming my browser. But Dynasty, okay. Let me lock in. Let me lock in. So South Spawn, we have very, very common spawn bait. This we have the VK90. Or not VK90. I'm fucking blind. Dude, I need to get some. I need to get some sleep. We have this tank right here. It's not a tank that's in World of Tanks Blitz. It's a Tanks Blitz exclusive. It's called the LV 1300. It's like nicknamed Uranium, I believe, by the Russians, and it has this one it's basically unpennable from the front, basically. That's the easiest way to describe it. So if you're wondering like what the hell this tank is, it's just a tomato, a walking tomato, basically. And let me put down the rest of the tank. So we have three 116s, I think. So we have one, two, and then three on the steps here. And that should be all 7 tanks for that side. Then this side, we should have boom, 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 boom. Then boom, boom. This is that 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm missing one tank. Am I blind or what? Am I blind or what? I see 6 tanks here. Oh, there's a 7th tank far out. Okay. So he's playing like this spot. Okay. So this initial setup, I'd say it's very passive from both sides. Very, very passive on both sides. But in terms of just which setup is better, I'd say it's kind of hard to say just because they're both kind of doing very similar things. If anything, I would actually say the red setup is a bit better just because you're covering a bit more of the map. So you have a lot more options, a lot more responses that you can potentially do. So the south setup, I mean, it's not a bad setup. It's just that the amount of options and amount of vision that you have. If you had like maybe guys hiding behind this corner here, it would be a bit better just for getting vision and also maybe spotting the guy down in this lane. But having 2 guys here, you're kind of anticipating that the enemy team is going to play C, and these kind of setups only really work like very well if, for instance, a team that you are facing is playing hard C and they decide to just like send it for the guy on this ramp right here. This guy is a bait. If you try to push him like this, or even push him like this, these 2 guys can just completely bomb the guys trying to push right here. So that being said, let's see how this plays out. So a lot of HE being thrown around, which kind of makes sense. These guys are hold down. They're not trying to make any super aggressive moves. They're just taking the shots that they have. And good comp players aren't going to give you easy shots. They're going to be like moving their cupolas and turrets around so that you can't get easy heat shells into weak points. So most of these shells throwing around are HE. And does seem like New Era is hitting their shots, their HE shots. They're slightly out trading, but in the grand scheme of things, these bleed shots don't really matter at all unless you're trying to like say farm a max roll of HE. But we do see actually a rotation from the New Era team where they see this LV 1300 move a bit more aggressive on C. So what happened is this guy started moving up like this, and he does get spotted by presumably, I'd say, the guy on the ramp here. And because they see a big a big slow heavy tank move up very far on C, I'm guessing they're thinking, "Oh, maybe they have like, quite a bit on C. Let's maybe rotate these guys back a bit," which I think is a mistake. I don't think you really need to make that kind of again, I don't think you need to make that kind of move, especially if you only spot one tank. Like, you're winning your trades in town. I'd say just keep trying to bleed, keep trying to force Capybara to back up a bit. So these two guys right here are doing a great job at bleeding this guy. If you make him back up all the way, like that's good. Like that's good. You can then start, playing up into town a bit more. Maybe you could. Well, it's hard because they also don't know about these three guys here. So I do think the rotation, trying to send these guys back is a bit, I'd say, preemptive to premature, I'd say. You should play up for a bit more info before you try to make a decision like that. And seems like yeah, okay. So again, because Zombie had these two guys just holding the wide angle, holding this very strong position over here, they have the peak advantage. They are able to spot down this lane and they do get good trades here. They get one shot. Does this guy behind him get a shot? No, he doesn't. So either way, this is still good information because yeah, this is cooked right now. I think just off of the setup that the blue team versus the red team have, they are just going to lose. And something to note is that the bait tank here actually backed out all the way to here. So maybe they were like anticipating, oh, they're just going to full push C. That's why we should rotate our guys like this. And I don't really agree with this. I think it's a bit too premature, but maybe they were just like trying to like out rotate their enemy in a sense and try to predict that, oh, maybe they have a lot of guys on this side of the map. Why don't we just strong arm our guys here and try to kill this sector of the map, assuming that they have a lot of guys over here. So that's probably what was going through the caller's mind when they decided to make this rotation. But again, it's very chopped because these two guys in the far wide angle, they're just going to spot and also have insane crossfire. And I believe the pad thing that they're going to do is something like this. Not exactly sure where they'd want to push, but I'd presume one guy probably push to this fountain over here, and then maybe guys like try to go for the kill here, or even try to go for the wide angle over here. And I do think the probably playing for the wide angle is the best option, but it's not a great push. It's gonna suck because you're just gonna get crossfired like crazy. Because the guy on this side, he's moved up quite a bit. He's somewhere over here now. And then what else do they have? Yeah, so just something like this. And sure, you could probably, push, like, go for like one guy here, go for a 2v2 in the corner. But these two guys over here are just going to take a lot of time to die as long as they don't do anything stupid like push forwards. These guys are just going to buy so much time for these guys to look for crossfire angles. And you can easily get crossfired if, say, this guy goes to like the middle and like shoots over this middle pedestal into the guys over here if they are backed up quite a bit, or more accurate angle would be like something like this or something like this. So let's see how this plays out. Okay, so very interesting. Where actually I was right about going to the steps. I was just a bit wrong with the rest of their setup. Ah shit, my fucking strat sketch just disappeared. Hold up. I just exited out my strat sketch like a monkey. Where is my strat sketch? Here it is. Okay. All right, here it is. So they do send a guy here. They have a bunch of guys just kind of sitting here, which I'm not sure what this is. It's a bit of hesitation. They still have a guy in this lane, and then they have this one guy here and one guy here, and then Zombie sends their guy into B, which is actually a very smart play, I'd say, because the guy in B is gonna have crossfire on the guy at the steps, and potentially if the rest of New Era decides to try to push through, they are also going to get crossfired by the guy in B. But this is kind of a double-edged sword actually, because the guy in B, in theory, is also cross-fireable by the guys he has shots on. Like, this is not a one-way street, this is a two-way street. This guy can put shots into the guy in B. This guy could even push the guy in B, and this guy could, you know, eat one shot from this dude over here, and then shoot the guy in B as he tries to back out. So I think if New Era is able to coordinate well and kind of recognize like that this is a two-way street, fist can be thrown on both ends. The plan B could actually be punished very, very easily. And I do like the rotation that Reborn on Zombie is doing, where he's presumably trying to reinforce the wide angle. And I like how Capybara is kind of holding his position, trying to keep down Chocopi while also preventing any, more tanks to try to rotate and help the far A brawl on this side. So we will see. We will see. Oh, let me just update this as well. So I think we see something like this, presumably. Okay, so it seems like Laser is getting punished a bit by Akison. I think Akison is making the correct play, and exactly like I said. So the guy that the VK that kind of backed up around this corner was able to just drive forwards, and Akison, upon forcing Laser to back up just a little bit, is able to get a very nice crossfire setup with his teammate. So this is just great teamwork from these two. I'm not sure if this was, coordinated um intentionally, but this is just great play right there. Incredibly good punish from um the New Era players over here. And Laser, you might think like, why the hell are you shooting HE? Like, are you stupid? Like, no, this tank is unpennable. You have to shoot HE. So him going for that shot, it's not because this guy is bad. It's because this tank is like a tomato. So that's well played, and actually interesting maneuver from this guy. So just looking at the tank distributions, it seems like Reborn actually reinforced the far wide angle. So you have three tanks that are at the kind of red line wide angle, but they're not really being useful. They're just kind of just chilling there. And you have what it seems to be one guy here, one guy here, one guy here, one guy here. So, or one guy here, and then one guy here. Okay, I'm just trying to just clear up the position just so I can give a more accurate analysis of this. And I think in this situation, actually, because Laser just ate shots from a bunch of different guys, right? Like shots here, shots here, shots here. Laser is 100% a kill target, and what can actually happen is you just need two guys on this side of New Era. So presumably the LV 1300, or sorry, is it a 116 or LV 1300? Okay, it's an LV 1300. So an LV 1300 just goes in, gets the final shot to kill, and then you just take a 2v1 on C side. While this guy should just try to buy enough time, try to cover these two tanks, especially this guy. I think this guy is probably the first kill that Zombie are gonna go for, or actually, probably this guy because this dude can actually just drive forwards and he's relatively safe, unless it's this guy. But what I mean is, eventually, Zombie are probably going to push kind of like this. They're probably going to try to put shots into whoever they can in mid, like this, or probably go for the easier kill, I'd say. and they go for the shot here, or they can just completely just push through, putting in shots while pushing through, and go for the guy here. And I think the strongest play is actually going for the guy here, because this guy can hide by just driving forwards. You are actually very safe. If you drive forwards, you do not get shot by anyone on this side, but you can get shot by, say, this guy if he drives up just a little bit more, like this. And then this guy, of course, can like farm you. So I think probably driving forwards is the best move for the guy on the steps. And then that'll probably buy a little bit of time. But I do think killing the guy that's kind of anchoring like this is probably the strongest play for zombie, because one, it will give them another angle of crossfire, because once they kill this guy, they can have shots on presumably this guy, as long as the red tank tries to block him, preventing him from getting out or even running out. So, say this red tank tries to block this lane from the green tank trying to run away. So the green tank, he can't really run like this. He can only run like this, and presumably, um, this tank on the steps is going to die, which means this tank over here can crossfire. The colors are a bit messed up. Don't worry, I'm sure most people will understand what I'm trying to say. So let's see what happens here. No, 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 no. This is an overcommitment right here. So Bolshoi Anton right here. He does not need to push through B for what I presume to be laser and the other LV 1300 that's like on C side. Usually in comp games, you want to prioritize putting your tank in the big brawl. These small brawls, especially laser, he's about 500 HP. That is a one or a two shot for this LV 1300. I don't know how much alpha it has, but I presume he's going to be a two shot. So you guys got to trust that your teammate's going to win the 1v1. And then after Atkinson wins the 1v1, he can then help his other VK teammate who is currently 1v1ing another LV 1300. So let's I'll just let this play out before I go back to the strat sketch. And they do pick up the kill, which is, that's fine and all, but I think it is a bit of an overcommit, because this guy is full HP, and if you look at the rest of the new era tanks, they are actually going for the immediate kill on the guy on the steps. Well, no, no, no. Skilloid is still alive, actually. Virginia did get completely bombed, though. He's about a two shot, presumably, and it seems like Zombie has two shots lined up for him, so he's going to fall very, very quickly. So, just looking at the HP, they are New Air's up about 1,000, but this guy right here, Bolshoi, he has almost 3k HP, and he's just completely out of the fight, as well as this VK and this LV 1300. So even though New Era actually has like, 1,000 or so HP lead, in practicality, it is not 1,000. It is, let me just add the numbers real quick. So 2,800 plus 1,800 is 4,600, and then 4,600 plus, what's this VK? What's his name here? Plus 1,300. So that's like 6k HP. So in reality, you're going to have zombie HP over here, which is about 10.9 minus Val Anonymous, which is 9.2k HP, against 5k HP between Lost in Motion, Chocopie, and 916 Virginia. They are just going to absolutely steamroll the major brawl. And it doesn't matter if Lost in Motion is able to put good crossfire, they are just going to just completely steamroll Skilloid, Chocopie, Virginia. Two kills are lined up for them, and then it's going to be very quickly 5 versus 2 in town, while these three guys are going to try to, are just wasting their time against Valanonis. Very good HE roll. Well aimed. And even looking at the tanks right now, it's already 6v5. 5v5 right now, but if we take a closer look at just this tank distributions, Zombie has 3 tanks ready to just fire on Akasun. Akasun's going to die very soon. We have Tenoji going kind of for a 1v1